guys, it's Miss DSO. I thought I would go ahead and create a tutorial video for you when it comes to drawing your grid on your reference photo. So I found an animal eye photo on Google and printed it out in color for myself and did this as well for all my in-person friends. Now, if you're an in-person student and you didn't get one of these printouts, don't sweat it. You can do my digital grid drawing assignment or tutorial and still get a grid on your photo. It'll just be digital. All right, let's do this hands-on thing here. I have a pencil, and I also have a Sharpie, and I have a ruler. Any and all of these items I might be using. I am gonna use the Sharpie just to go for it, but know that you can also do this in pencil first, especially if you're afraid you might mess up and you want to later go over with the Sharpie, you can. So first, a review about this reference photo and its dimensions, a review of that grid method. We are taking a photo that has already been pre-measured. Miss DSO already did this. This side of your photograph is 4 inches, and the length of this side of your photograph is 6 inches. We are working with a 4 by 6 inch photograph, pretty standard size. But we are eventually going to take this photograph and blow it up onto our larger drawing paper with that 1:2 grid method ratio. But for today, we first just need to get a 1 by 1 inch grid on this photo. We're gonna draw right all over this guy, and it's okay, because we need to put this grid on here. On your final drawing paper, you will not use the Sharpie to do the lines, but for this reference photo, we can use a color pencil, a marker, a Sharpie. It doesn't really matter, because you just need to get a grid on this thing, and it's gonna stay forever on this photograph. It's just our reference photo. All right, so I kind of remember what I'm doing now, and I need to create a 1 by 1 inch grid on this thing. So I'm gonna take my ruler, and the first thing I'm gonna do is use it to mark lines on the dimensions of the sides, okay? Now, if your length and width of your photo are either just a hair shorter or a hair longer than 4 and 6 inches, don't sweat it. In fact, this photograph is a little bit, it's an 1/8 of an inch too long. I'm not gonna sweat it. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of shift a hair and kind of line that ruler up within the square there of the photo. And I'm gonna put some lines on this thing, and I'm gonna do it on every inch. So make sure you're using the inches side of your ruler. Do not get tripped up by them centimeter boys down here. We are using inches, and we're gonna put a little line everywhere you see 1 inch measurement. So at the 1, I'm gonna put a line. At the 2, another line. The 3, another line. The 4, another line. And the 5, another line. Boom, I did it. Now I'm not gonna worry about the 6 and then the 0 or the non-existent part of the ruler there, because the edges of my photo provide the perimeter, basically, this line visually. I can see that. So now that I've done the spots up at the top, I'm gonna do it again down here at the bottom. I'm gonna line this ruler up, try and fit it there within the ruler dimensions there. So I'm about here to here. It's a little past the 6 inches. I'm not gonna sweat it though. It's just a hair. So I'm gonna come over here to the 1 and put a Sharpie line there and another line here. The reason I'm also using a Sharpie as I mark these little marker lines at each inch interval is so I can really see it on the photograph. Sometimes when we use a pencil on top of something that's already been printed or drawn, it's kind of hard to see our pencil lines. So that Sharpie is gonna help. I'm gonna rotate the photo now and draw my lines or little marker points at these sides. I like to rotate because I like to keep my ruler oriented in this position as I'm putting these marker points. Now remember, this side is only 4 inches long, so I am actually only going to put little lines at the 1, the 2, and the 3. Remember, the 0 and the 4 are the like edges, the perimeter, the corners. We don't need to worry about putting little lines there. I'm gonna scoochie my paper up and do the same at the bottom. Line the corners up with the edge of the ruler, starting at 0 and going up to 4, and then putting the little lines at 1, 2, and 3. We are doing a 1 by 1 inch grid. So every inch I am putting a little line. And there we go. Now I've got my markings to help me draw these vertical and horizontal lines that are going to make up my grid. So to get started, I'll go ahead and take my ruler and align it up. I want to align it to that top and that bottom marker line that I drew earlier. Now I'm going to take my Sharpie, and without moving that ruler, keeping that ruler still, I might even go off the photo a hair just so I can really see boom, boom. But you can, you know, I want you to be able to see that line, but you could stop at the edge of your photo if you want. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to continue. I'm going to take my time and be careful. Y'all, commit. Oh man, it is stressful using a Sharpie sometimes. And commit. While I'm doing this and you understand this process, we're going to review why we use the grid method. Now, gridding out your reference photo will help, you know, basically take the pieces of the photo and break it up into manageable chunks, right? Manageable sections, almost like a puzzle. So we can focus in on just one little portion at a time and really do our best to recreate this and draw it larger. Or if you're doing 1-to-1, just the same exact ratio, but we are going larger. Redraw this larger with exact proportions, right? We're going to look at each detail within each section and see how it relates to the sides of that quadrant we have, right? And then you can use a viewfinder to help you really zero in and focus in on one at a time. And there we have it. It is the grid. I have my grid, y'all. It is on that little froggy eye. That's a frog eye, by the way. In case you're like, what animal is that? Now I'm good. I'm ready to go. I've got my reference photo gridded out. I'm ready to prepare my final drawing paper, which is going to be a double the size of this photo dimensions, right? You remember how to do that? Watch my other video on drawing the 8 by 12 inch grid on your final drawing paper for more information. But that is it. I'm ready to go. That is the end of this tutorial video. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flippity flop, y'all.